Marcus sat at a small wooden table in the community center, his fingers tracing the edges of the card Sarah had given him. The address to a temporary shelter was scrawled neatly on it, offering a safe place to sleep for the first time in months. Beside him, Luna nibbled on the last bits of shredded chicken from her bowl, her green eyes occasionally glancing up at him. It was the first time in as long as Marcus could remember that he'd felt full, not just his stomach, but his spirit. The warmth of the center, the kindness of strangers, and the unexpected meal all seemed like a dream he might wake from. Nancy, the receptionist, approached with a warm smile.
"How's Luna doing?"
she asked, crouching slightly to stroke the cat. Luna purred in response, leaning into Nancy's touch.
"She's spoiled now,"
Marcus said with a faint chuckle, though his voice was still tinged with uncertainty.
"Not that she minds."
Nancy straightened up, still smiling.
"Sarah wanted me to let you know she's ready to see you again whenever you are."
Marcus nodded, gripping the card tighter as if it might vanish if he let go. He stood slowly, feeling the weight of his exhaustion, but also the faint stirrings of something he hadn't felt in a long time: hope. Sarah's office felt different the second time Marcus entered. The warmth from earlier lingered, but now there was an air of purpose, a sense that something bigger was about to happen. She greeted him with the same kind smile, gesturing to the chair across from her desk.
"Marcus, I hope you're feeling a little better after your meal."
"I am."
Marcus replied, his voice steady but quiet.
"Thank you for everything."
Sarah nodded, leaning slightly forward.
"I want to talk to you about next steps. This isn't just about giving you a meal or a place to sleep for the night. It's about building a foundation for something sustainable, something that can help you regain control of your life."
Marcus shifted in his seat, unsure of where this was going.
"What do you mean?"
he asked cautiously. Sarah opened a folder on her desk and slid a piece of paper toward him.
"I want to offer you a position here at the center. We're always in need of people who understand what it's like to struggle, who can connect with others going through tough times. Your kindness toward Luna showed me that you have that empathy."
Marcus stared at her, the words not quite registering.
"A position? You mean a job?"
"Yes."
Sarah said simply.
"It wouldn't be anything fancy to start. Helping with food distribution, organizing supplies, maybe some light admin work if you're interested. But it's a real job, Marcus. And it comes with support, training, guidance, and a network of people who believe in second chances."
The room felt suddenly too small. Marcus's mind raced with doubts and questions.
"Why me?"
he asked, his voice cracking.
"I'm just some guy who fed a cat. I don't know anything about this kind of work."
Sarah's smile didn't waver.
"That's where you're wrong. Empathy and resilience are skills, Marcus, ones that can't be taught easily. You've lived through things most people can't imagine, and that makes you uniquely qualified to help others. As for the rest, we'll teach you. You don't have to do this alone."
Marcus looked down at the paper she'd handed him. It outlined the details of the position, the hours, and a modest salary. It wasn't much, but it was more than he'd had in months. The idea of stability, of purpose, felt almost foreign.
I don't know,"
he admitted.
"What if I mess it up? What if I'm not good enough?"
Sarah leaned back slightly, her expression softening.
"Then we'll figure it out together. Failure isn't the end, Marcus. It's just another step. But I believe you can do this. And I think, deep down, you do too."
For a long moment, Marcus didn't speak. He thought about the months he'd spent surviving on the streets, the countless nights of hunger and cold. He thought about the people who had passed him by, their eyes sliding over him as if he didn't exist. But he also thought about the stray cat who had looked at him like he mattered, who had brought him here to this moment. Finally, he looked up, his eyes meeting Sarah's.
"Okay,
he said, the word heavy with both fear and resolve.
I'll give it a shot."
That's all I ask.
The next few days passed in a blur of new experiences. Marcus began his work at the center slowly, starting with simple tasks like organizing canned goods in the food pantry and distributing meals during lunch hours. He wasn't used to being part of something structured, but there was a quiet satisfaction in knowing he was helping others. For the first time in a long while, he felt useful. Luna quickly became a fixture at the center, her presence a source of joy for both staff and visitors. She would weave between the tables during lunch, her green eyes lighting up every room she entered. Marcus often caught people stopping to pet her, their smiles genuine and unguarded. She had become more than a stray. She was a symbol of hope, just as she had been for him. One afternoon, Marcus was working in the storage room, sorting through donations, when Nancy popped her head in.
There's someone here to see you.
She said with a curious smile. Marcus frowned, wiping his hands on his jeans.
Who?
Come and see.
Nancy said, motioning for him to follow. He walked into the lobby to find an older man standing near the reception desk. The man wore a thick coat and a knit hat, his hands clutching a large bag of cat food. Luna sat at his feet, purring loudly as he scratched behind her ears.
Marcus?
The man asked, his voice warm and gravelly.
Yeah, that's me.
Marcus replied, his confusion clear. The man smiled, standing upright.
My name's Tom. I live a few blocks from here. This little lady
He gestured to Luna.
used to hang around my place before she disappeared. I've been worried about her for weeks.
Marcus's heart sank.
You mean she's yours?
Tom chuckled.
No. She's nobody's. She's always been a free spirit. But she seems to have taken a liking to you. And I can see why.
Marcus looked down at Luna, who gazed up at him as if to say, I'm staying right here.
I brought this for her.
Tom continued, holding up the bag of cat food.
Figured you could use it. And if you ever need more, just let me know.
Marcus took the bag, his throat tight.
Thank you.
He said, his voice barely above a whisper. Tom nodded, giving Luna one last scratch before heading for the door.
Take care of her.
He said over his shoulder.
She's a special one.
As the door closed behind him, Marcus looked at Luna and smiled.
I guess you're sticking around, huh?
She purred in response, her green eyes glowing with quiet contentment. By the end of his first week at the center, Marcus felt something he hadn't in a long time: pride. It was a small start, but it was his. Every can he stocked, every meal he served, felt like a step towards something better. And with Luna by his side, he knew he wasn't alone. One evening, as he sat on the shelter's modest cot with Luna curled up beside him, he pulled out the card Sarah had given him that first day. He ran his fingers over the words, thinking about how far he'd come in such a short time. For the first time in years, the future didn't feel so bleak. It felt like something he could shape, something he could build. And it all started with a stray cat and a small act of kindness.